Hi, everybody. It is October 10th, 2024, and we are enjoying the Inventors Roundtable Virtual West, although not everybody is from the West. And we are talking about where we are with our different projects and what's next for everyone. And Darth was just telling us about you need some help. So you've got sexy prototypes, proof of concept prototypes at work.
A really poor one, not a good quality one that I would like.
Okay. Okay. So then, to license your intellectual property, has your patent issued?
Yes.
Okay. How old is it?
Let's see. At least 5 years old.
Okay. So, we look at, at the 10-year mark, it's kind of, it's tougher to license stuff. So, newer is better. To license your intellectual property, all right, you need proof of concept prototypes and patent pending status, at least, patent issued is fine. And so those are, some of the things that we look at to, be able to get out there and look at the potential for licensing. So somebody else is going to sell it and send you a check. So we'll come back to that in a little bit. Carrie, go ahead and introduce yourself. How are you tonight?
Okay. My friend Merritt emailed me that you were having a conference. And I think I've talked to you before. Maybe. You're not from Colorado, though, right? You're from...
I was.
You what? You were.
Yes. Yes. My phone number is still 303. They will print that on the side of my casket. I'm taking it with me. So, they had it for a long, long time. So it's very possible that we did visit. I live in Eastern Tennessee now, but I live in Denver for 20 years.
Yeah. I think I met you through my father, Ed Wilson. I don't know if you remember, like an older man, of course, older than me because he's my dad, but...
Well, if you could tell me what his invention was, I'd be more likely to remember. I remember inventions more than I remember names.
It was a fiber optic computer security program, but anyhow, so
what brings you to the meeting tonight?
Well, Merritt had mentioned, that this was group on live, and so, is she there? I don't know if she's there or not, but oh yeah, there she is. Anyhow, we're both inventors.
Okay.
And we're, this is probably, I don't know if this is going to go well, but we are actually trying to get some bills passed to protect inventors.
We have a group. You did a post on our group on LinkedIn, on the Female U.S. Inventor group on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And so I saw your post, and Carrie and I founded it. So I was like, oh, let's join in. We're both inventors. Let's see what's going on. And it was great to see that you posted on the site and that you're supporting innovation as well. We support innovation. We've been supporting innovation for a long time, Carrie and I have. And we're both tech inventors. So We're not product inventors, but we know a lot of product inventors, a lot of the Shark Tank product inventors. Carrie was just in DC with a lot of the product inventors. And we also have access to like lawyers and people like that if people are trying to license and have inventions and have infringers. And we've been trying to help get bills passed. So we just wanted to jump on and hear more about what's going on with other female inventors. And we don't do licensing ourselves because obviously we both have lawyers that handle that for us.
Mm-hmm.
But we're both very much pro-female innovation. So I'm cooking dinner right now at the same time, but I'm here. Okay.
Okay. I work with inventors, male, female, old, young. It doesn't really matter. The kids, in high school and all the way up through, I think the oldest one I've worked with was in his 90s. So, and he's been to a few of these meetings. So, both sides of it. I've worked with Josh Malone with US Inventor and Randy Lander now. I've been with them to go and walk the halls of Congress when they were just getting started with their US Inventor and trying to work for inventors' rights and all of that stuff. So we pay attention on that stuff. I work, I do the radio, so we get a lot of inventors in all walks of inventing, to be on the radio show, take a group of inventors to ASD Market Week, really look at helping them license their intellectual property or find the right places to find help selling their product if they're in the production mode. So we work with Made in USA group a lot, Buckner, and their platform. If the product is made in the USA, that platform will be an equivalent to Amazon. So we really look for the products that are made in the USA and help get them out there. But a lot of what we do is, radio and then getting the team together to go to ASD Market Week. I work with a bunch of attorneys as well and help inventors license their intellectual property. So if we can find out, help them sooner rather than later, a lot of times we can help them avoid, some of the kind of standard mistakes that they make if they get connected with a group like Invent Help or something like that. So, and we try to get the news out.
Well, what you just said, what are the mistakes that Invent Help makes, do you think, or?
Well, they charge a lot of money up front. Their collective success rate for those invention promotion companies is less than 1%. But they've charged a lot of money. So their business model is to make money on the inventor as opposed to making money on getting the product into the marketplace. All right, as a licensing agent, I don't charge the inventor anything up front. I get paid when the inventor gets paid. So I have an interest in making sure the product gets to market. So just some of the differences. A lot of times I've seen a lot of when an inventor has a search done and their recommendations, they're just copying the pages and saying, oh, this is a wonderful product, and yes, you should go and pay us $10,000 and we'll help you. And then all they do is renderings. They very seldom do an actual functioning prototype. They just do renderings. Well, nobody's going to license renderings. You can do renderings of life on Mars. It doesn't mean there really is life on Mars.
What is renderings? What does that mean?
Renderings, pictures that move.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow. Then I'm doing that now.
Yeah, well, there you go. I said, they can do renderings of me hanging from a tree, and it doesn't mean that I'm going to crawl up that tree out there and swing like a monkey. But that's what they do. So yeah, there's several of them out there, but the key difference is when they charge a lot of money up front before they've done anything. Inventing, we've learned, is in stages. And you make your next set of business decisions based on what you learned at the last stage. All right, you get a search done. Well, you look at it and you decide, first of all, whether you're not a dummy. All right. So you can look at a search and say, oh my God, this has been done a dozen different ways. I shouldn't go after a patent. I should move on to my next idea. And I've had inventors tell us that after, a search was done. But when the inventor has the attorney that they want to have do the patent, do the search as well, it's kind of a conflict of interest, because then the attorney is framing the conversation rather than the inventor. And we think that the inventor should be framing the conversation, not the attorney.
Right. So Shirley, what do you do? What do you?
Shelley's right? Shelley?
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm
and sexy prototypes and patent, and she's getting ready to go to ASD Market Week with us.
Yes. I am an inventor. It sits on my desk every single day. Oh, wait a minute. Do I have my blurred? Well, you can still see it, I think.
Yeah, you can see it.
Take it off. It's called Django. You float it down. So this is what it looks like, sort of flat. And you can open it up. And on the back of my phone case, I put a mounting ring, which comes with Django, and you attach it like a socket. You can turn it upside down. And with a mounting puck under like a kitchen cabinet, which is the original idea, you can, turn it this way. You can rotate it, whatever your viewing angle is. You can literally, with one finger, turn it around. And then, so I did have a patent. It got approved after 2.5 years. And then you have to start paying maintenance. So I paid the first maintenance, I think it's first 4 years. And then the second maintenance, whatever happened with my IP attorney, he said he didn't get the thing. Whatever happened, it expired. So we had another patent we needed to file anyway because of major changes to the product. So we let the first patent expire because the renewal fee was like $1,250. So now I filed a provisional patent only because I'm in the process of the sample stage of manufacturing in Vietnam. We wanted to see in case there were any changes, it would still be a provisional. I don't think there's going to be any changes, so I'm going to have him file it. You have a year in that provisional to file it as an official, you could say, patent filing, utility patent. So I need to have him probably pretty soon to just go ahead and file it as a regular patent again. So I'm in almost the final stages. I'm trying to find something of what they call the sampling process, which has definitely taken me much longer than I expected. But if you want your product to be right and you know your product by heart, you make sure it's right before it goes into production. So let's see if I can find this quickly without wasting time, and which I don't want to do that. And
how did you come up with the idea?
I was living in an apartment with a small galley kitchen, and I was at the time with my tablet iPad I had. I thought I want to be able to cook and get recipes online, and I just didn't have really space to put it anywhere because there's limited countertop space. And I thought, what if I could somehow suspend something from under the cabinet, attach my iPad to it, and then put it back up? And so that idea started with telling some girlfriends about it. They're like, that's great. I'm like, yeah, but what do you do with that's great? And then one of those friends ran into an industrial engineer at a healthcare expo in our town where I lived in Maryland. And so I met with him, and we started I think a 9-month process of going through many different designs, going to Lowe's or Home Depot and measuring cabinets and heights and different things. And then he actually had the experience to write a patent. So I had him write the patent, and we filed it initially in 2011, January 2011. We literally drove to the Virginia office, filed it in the evening, and 2.5 later, with no edits, which is rare, I got approved. And it was fine. But again, we had major changes to 2 major parts. This round section, this whole section is called the arm, but this round section totally changed, and the hinge changed. So we had to have a new patent, and that's the one that's been refiled currently as provisional. But through the process of working with the industrial engineer and talking through it, and trying to see it in different places, it became something that wasn't just suspended, but is used flat. And so a few years ago, I had 100 of these machined in the United States, knowing I would not make any profit. It was just to get the first 100 done so I could either give some out, which I did, or sell some and try different pricing structures. I did do a trade show, the Metropolitan DC Home Show. Not a very good turnout. Mainly because new management changed a lot of things, spent a lot of money, sold a few, but it's when the pandemic hit, I didn't get very far for a few years, partially because I didn't have any more money to put into it. I've already put in over, until this year, 60,000. As of this year, 15,000. But I also needed a mentor. I just couldn't find a mentor, and I finally found one here in Denver through SCORE, someone who had product background, and he's been a huge help. I just talked to him today about something. I mean, depending if you can find the right mentor, they're worth it. I mean, they just are. So, and now I'm looking for investors because I need money. And I don't know.
Hear that story a lot. Hillary, it's good to see you.
I'll be right back.
Take off your mute button and introduce yourself. Miss Holdylocks.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, hi. Sorry, I just got through Milton. That was fun. No, I'm serious. It's like I'm very blessed. Nothing happened to my property. And it was a mess. It was a terrible mess around. There's like 54 tornadoes through Florida at least. And so, yeah, like I said, I'm just kind of like getting back into, you know, normal life again. I was like preparing for death. You know, whatever happens, happens, you know.
Hey, I understand. This is my internet came on tonight at 4 o'clock, and it's the first time in 2 weeks we have had phone and internet service up here because of the flooding from
Yeah.
Hurricane Helene. So
Oh,
I get it. I get it. Yeah, there's on that Friday we sat on the deck and watched the houses float down the river.
I even bought a kayak because I figured just in case if I had floating out of my house, I don't want to get hit by no gator.
No kidding, no kidding. They said the water here was flowing 55 miles an hour down.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
it was not. Yeah, you didn't want to be in that water. And the problem was, is a lot of, you know, there was a couple of ladies that went down and were helping with the swift water rescues. And because the water was so toxic, their boots were melting.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably the phosphates because there's a huge phosphate mine here.
Yep.
All of that, yeah, all that got dumped, and there's like phosphoric acid, sulfuric acid, all kinds of nasty stuff in that.
Yep. All that nasty stuff in Western North Carolina flowed down here into Eastern Tennessee and got all. So we had to get hepatitis shots and tetanus shots, diphtheria, everything before we could go down and help.
Wow. Oh my goodness, that's horrible. Wow.
Anyway, we're talking about lady inventors tonight. So tell us tell everybody what you've got so that they know and can decide whether or not they need their locks held up.
Well, for me, I have to have my hair up every day, like in a bun. And I insisted on having a comfortable one that doesn't tear my hair out. So I made my product to be virtually tangle free if you're careful how you roll it and wind it. There's many ways you can use it. You can wind it halfway up and have like a pony bun and have some of your hair hanging out like a bun, and you know, you can do all kinds of things, space buns, messy buns. I do the twist bun. There's a donut bun where you can have the ballerina bun, and it's like I got a scan card that does the tutorial for all the hairstyles, and it's the same unit. Not to mention you can use it on the outside like a barrette and pin it through with like a U-pin or just a regular, you know, hairpin or something like that. You know, you just pin it through like those old leather ones, you know.
So your patent is issued, you've been manufacturing and selling, and now you're looking to kind of grow to the next step.
Yep, absolutely. I keep getting like, you know, advertisements of people that say I can get funding, but it just doesn't seem possible. It's like, you know, I've been up and down that road a few times, and it's like I'm scared of it. It's like I just kind of want to be very cautious.
You are a very wise woman.
Mhm.
It is scary, and there's always a lot of pitfalls. Nobody gives money away for free. Holy mackerel.
No, yeah. When you're dealing with money, there's a lot to it. There's a lot to it. You got to be very careful.
Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I mean, I was actually scammed a couple of times with like people that were like preying on female inventors.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So definitely be careful with that, or like founders of like they, you know, they go on the sites and they look for the people that are like posting their stuff up there. And yeah, it's pretty bad. Like I went like 6 months into like deep conversations, like going back and forth and meeting with like lawyers and all of this. And then it, you know, it was a total scam. So be careful.
Oh,
Absolutely. I've got an inventor in Kentucky that has a great product, and he took on an investor and ended up, you know, suing each other and in court, and the investor did not help at all and end up sucking up a lot of his other money because he was in breach of contract. So that was a tough one. And he's got a really cool product, and you know, he's paid the first fee on it. And now he has said, "Oh, I need to license this. I'm done. I'm done chasing investors and trying to manufacture. I'm going to license it."
Yeah. Yeah. It's and, you know, even that can be kind of iffy. You know, you really got to know your contracts, you know, from what.
Oh yeah.
Where
That's-
do you sell at? Where is the main place you're selling right now, Hillary?
Just online. I've got a Wix website. That seemed to be the one that worked the best, but I ended up with a YouTube influencer that likes my product, and she, you know, she's doing like, you know, she did a video, and it's still generating sales for me because people, you know, look at her channel, and she has like a little hyperlink to my website that gives her like a discount code to.
Have you tried, if you have that hyperlink set up, have you tried to send your stuff out to other influencers for free?
You know, I've done that. It's just kind of hard because they are booked. A lot of these influencers,
They want to get paid.
well, yeah, I'm willing to pay them, but they're still, I've had one that I thought was for sure going to get done. I had prepaid it and everything. You know, I'd use ClabStar, and you know, I even give her a whole month, and she never came around through with the video, so I got my money back. But it's like, you know, it's kind of frustrating because you wait for one, and then you got to wait for another because you prepay, like with
Yeah.
the things, and then sometimes they just don't get to it because they're busy. They're, you know, they're flocked with
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
Well-
but at least you know you got to just keep trying. You know what I mean? Because you know if they do that and they do have that following, then you're going to pick up some sales, or you
Mhm.
can see if you can run the other one's ads on social media, like the one that was so successful. Ask her if you can run it as an ad and get it sponsored.
Well, you know, actually what works for me also is just doing my own Instagram posts. That seems to work. I mean, I've gotten a couple of sales that way, you know,
Mhm.
but it's like I've got to have a lot more energy. You know, when I'm chasing hurricanes and I'm tracing, you know, my machine work and everything else because I'm a machinist, it's like I come in, this is my part-time thing, you know.
Yeah.
I'm about drained by the time I get to it.
So,
Yeah.
well, one of the things that we can do is get you on the radio again, because that's free and easy, and it's just a nice conversation. I think the last time we had you on, it's been a while, but we were still doing, you know, we weren't doing the Zoom call, so we couldn't really see each other.
Right.
And now it's still radio, still old-fashioned radio, but it does then go out across the country every Saturday, and you never know.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So
Yeah.
I will give you I'll check the topics. I know the one that we're doing on Monday is, you know, about filing a provisional and what good is for. But the last one we did is that, you know, when life gives you lemons, you make lemonade. And we had 2 amputees on, and both of their products they invented because they were amputees. And so, you know, those were very cool. And then the week before we did Necessity is the Mother of All Inventions. I had no idea that I was going to be thinking, you know, oh, look at all this flooding water, and, you know, people are going to be going crazy trying to invent new products to, you know, pump water out.
Right. Oh, definitely. Yeah, and you know, it's one thing about my product is that it's decoratable where I can do like a holiday theme, you know, or an occasion theme. So, you know, that kind of gives me that's the hard part, coming up with content, because you just don't want to just get in people's face. This is my product, buy it. You know, you got to kind of warm them up to it and let them know that, you know, it's a lifestyle kind of thing or something that, you know, they'll, you know, I don't know. I'm not really that good of a salesperson, but, you know, I'm trying to figure it out. It's like, you know,
You're doing okay. One step at a time. I know that when we went to ASD Market Week last year, the Jenny Salimi she made her first wholesale sale. And
wow.
it was just, you know, a little, you know, product to hold your straps together. And she was just thrilled, and her sales started picking up.
Mhm.
And because it's, you know, it's a consumer show. So they've got a whole floor of things that are fashion. And she went and walked around and found them over in on the other floor with all the fashion stuff. So it was a great place for her to be.
Right. You know, I get people that contact me wanting wholesale from my website. You know, they keep saying they have their e-commerce store and they want to, put my product in that. So I got one recently, and I'm trying to make a catalog that he can, pick and choose from for his website. But, it's like that wholesale is another thing. You got to know what you're doing. But I guess you said just use PayPal, and I'm gonna kind of hope PayPal will do the work for me.
Well, and I have used them for 16 years for the different things that we do. They keep good records. They don't charge a monthly rate if you don't have any sales. So their fees are less than some of the other platforms. And it's not a sales platform by any means. It's just a bookkeeping, invoicing. So if somebody places an order, you just send them an invoice.
Right. Yeah, I know. I can make an invoice with PayPal and send it to the email and such like that. I just wanted to make sure that it's like, because that wholesale thing is like that 130, 160 or whatever your payment terms and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And it gets kind of complicated where you got to wait 60 days or 30 days for the full payment.
This one I found was easier to use than anything else. Cheaper to use, easier to use, easier paperwork to follow, and you never have to touch a credit card. They verify payment or you ship. And if they don't verify, you don't ship it.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, that's awesome. Because one of the hardest parts is just getting my customers to put their full address on their on the order.
It's crazy. It's crazy. So Darcy, do you have any other questions for us? We see the picture of your prototype, the axe in the pumpkin.
Huh?
Not really sure what happened to you. I hope you're not a victim. All right.
Well, it is Halloween.
It is Halloween. We noticed life was getting back to normal when people started putting up decorations rather than, trash they're trying to throw out from shoveling out their basements. So, Carrie, what did you invent?
Who, me?
Yeah.
I have I've invented Find My iPhone. I have the patents for Find My iPhone.
Oh, okay.
I have 11 patents, including a European patent. And I filed for the patents in 2002, before there even was an iPhone. I was protecting laptops at computers, universities, and people were trying to table them down, and they were trying to track them after they were stolen. And I was just like, why not just say who owns it? Because there's more good people than bad people. 4 out of 5 people are good. And have it before the security prompt. So I filed for the patent. And then for 5 years, everybody told me, you can't do what you want to do. You can't change the screen from remote, because people, remember, in the old days, had to log on manually.
Right.
They had to sign in with so my patent says you can change the screen for remote without user assistance before the security prompt. Without you, because you don't want a thief, hey, Mr. Thief, can you sign on? They're going to do that. So then I'll just tell you a story. My hairdresser said this kid from Colorado School of Mines, my daughter's dating his roommate, maybe he could help you. So after a dozen programmers that told me I couldn't do what I wanted to do, I met him at Panera Bread in Boulder, and he got a Hello World working in 2 weeks. I was so excited I couldn't even find my car, because in the old days, all the programmers were trying to get the remote server to talk to the laptop, but he couldn't because somebody had to sign on. So this guy, what he did is he installed something and called the remote server every 6 seconds. Like he did the opposite. And so I thought, everybody's going to understand my idea. No. I went to Rocky Mountain Venture Capital. Have you ever been there? Those Rocky Mountain Venture Capital? I'm at DU University, the whole stadium. I had this huge room. I'm competing with other startups. There was only 5 people in my room. My dad, my programmer, my friend's ex-husband filming me, my friend, and this other woman. Nobody thought this was a good idea. So then I gave it to Brown University, Colby State, and Portland State for free for a whole year. I'm like, take it for free, offer it to all your students. Well, it totally took off. I was in UCLA, Cornell, USC. I'm in Johns Hopkins. I'm in dozens of universities. I'm in 100 countries. I have tens of thousands of customers. I'm in Staples and Office Max. And now I'm out in Silicon Valley pitching, and the room is packed, and I placed #1 out of 175 companies. And then Apple copied me, Find My iPhone. And then Google copied it, Find My Android. And then Samsung copied it, and Microsoft, Find My Device.
Oh,
So then I tried to amicably sell my patents through a broker for 4.5 years. And nobody took me seriously because I'm this, mom at 8,300 feet in Evergreen, Colorado, with no lawyers and no money at this point. And so then I finally went hat in hand, and I went to, I don't know, dozens of law firms, because some law firms will take, like Google will say, what they'll do is they'll give business to all the good law firms. So like Perkins Coie can't go after Google, but they can go after Apple.
Right.
And this one can go on. It's like a chess game.
Oh yeah. Oh
So
yeah.
anyhow,
They're all in it together.
so I found some of the best law firms in the country, and so I filed a lawsuit against LG in Judge Albright's courtroom, which is the best courtroom to be in if you're an inventor. And then Google and Microsoft attacked me at, and I don't want to ruin this group. They attacked me at something called PTAB, where the patent office can re-review your patents.
Yep.
It costs you $500,000, and you only have like a 15% chance of winning. So anyhow, that's my experience. But I will say, because I really do not want to ruin this thing, because Rita, I know you have tons of followers, and I know you're really helping people like all over the country. When I was at US Inventor Group, some guy from Michigan's like, "Oh, you're from Colorado. Do you know Rita? She's the best." So I don't, but I started this US Female Inventors Group, and Merritt also started with me because she just filed a lawsuit against Facebook. And so basically this US Female Inventors Group, we don't make any money from it. Yeah, you guys could go on there. It's packed full of female attorneys in IP, female IP valuation experts, and it's a bunch of Shark Tank women. As soon as they got on Shark Tank, they became targets for people copying them. But you can go on there and you can ask for advice. Hey, I want to have a licensing agreement, and all lawyers will talk to you for free at least once. You know what I mean? They will. And so anyhow, so what the group is doing is it's trying to help you not only get a patent, but defend a patent.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then secondly, we are affiliated with US Inventor. We're friends with Molly. And so we're trying to pass these bills. And one bill called the Restore Act will help hopefully get injunctions against companies. So make your patents worth more. And then there's this new balancing incentive acts where inventor can choose, to either be in district court with a jury or a regular court. But I don't want to ruin this whole, I love the fact, I mean, when I started this group, I just all these people signed up, and it's like, oh my God, they have like the coolest products ever. All these females are totally inventing these things. I mean, the things that females have invented, washing machines, windshield wipers, like females have been inventing this stuff. And it's just so cool. And you know what? I want to say something, because even though I'm living a bit of a nightmare, I keep figuring it out. Because last time I was in a courtroom, there was literally 50 attorneys in the room. I felt like I was in a movie, but watching a movie, but in it. 11 for me, but it was Google, Microsoft, like it was crazy. But somebody said to me at US Inventor, "Would you ever do this again? Would you ever file a patent?" And I'm telling you what, I would. And the reason I would is because if I didn't have these patents and people were copying me, it'd be over.
Yep, that's right. And I had my round with the USPTO in 2018 when an attorney in Denver accused me of practicing law without a license. And I ended up before a disciplinary hearing with the USPTO, and I did have my own attorney. And I had all these witnesses. They had it in Denver at the USPTO was the hearing, and the inventor and the attorney who accused me of practicing law without a license, the only witness they had was that one inventor. I had 20 some witnesses that, and the chamber, the Denver Metro Chamber let me stage everything there. So everybody gathered there at free, you know, at the chamber. And then we ferried the witnesses down to the USPTO building. And the guy that accused me said she takes money from little old ladies all the time. Well, because it was a work day, all right, all of the guys were at work. So my only witnesses were all the little old ladies. And they all said, she has never taken a dime from me. We have a great time at the meetings because we learn from each other. And all she does is facilitate the conversation. And she doesn't let predators come in and take advantage of us. So we have become an inventor family, and that's before pandemic and everything. Like I said, that was in 2017, 2018. So he lost, I won, and the USPTO apologized. And so I was very, very lucky, but you know, it was just amazing that, you know, I had all these, you know, ladies that were my witnesses and one gentleman who was a police officer and had invented, and he was my other witness. And so he had credibility, the ladies had credibility, and they all said, nope, nope, he's lying. That guy over there is lying. That's not true. And so I felt, you know, vindicated and happy to walk out of there knowing that the magistrate just said, oh my God, this is so freaking crazy. And these guys are nuts. And we're really sorry we took up all your time. So moved on and happily so. But I do really make sure that, you know, I do not get in that sandbox of practicing law without a license, even though I know a lot about patents. I point them in the direction of one of our vetted patent attorneys, of which we have several. And well, I can hold the attorney accountable for any invoicing he does or anything he says to them that I'm thinking, that's not quite right. Let's talk about this again. I do let the inventors know that, you know, nope, you're asking me to get in the wrong sandbox and I don't go there.
So you basically help you mainly, I'm assuming, deal with product inventors, right, Rita? And you help them find people to license their products and to like do the prototypes and everything that they need?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean,
Yeah.
as a licensing agent, all right, we've got attorneys that have my back. So they help negotiate. They make sure that, you know, we're reading it correctly. We did one years ago with Danko, with an inventor there in Denver. And one of the attorneys caught a paragraph that did not read right. I mean, it's like reading a murder mystery for me. But I go, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense. And the attorney looked at it and he goes, nope. He said, you're right. This is not worded right. And when we talked to the guy who's a good friend now, he says, oh my God, that's not what we intended. It's like, yeah, but if you get hit by a beer truck and somebody takes your place, they could read it this way. And he goes, yep. And they changed that agreement and it still is changed.
Okay, so you're sort of like a partner. Are you a partner sort of with the inventors and you help them sort of navigate that whole process and then you would get a piece of the final stuff?
I get paid when they get paid. So I get a piece of the royalty. All right. I don't charge anything up front. And then for that, we do the legal and financial review to make sure that the licensee is not in breach of contract. But if I get connected with them early rather than later, when they say, I've got an idea, what do I do? We've got a lot of resources that are free for the inventor. You know, the Inventors Roundtable meetings are free where they can come and ask questions. We've got lots of vetted service providers that we can introduce them to that we know are not going to take advantage of them.
That's really helpful. Yeah, very helpful.
Type guys. I mean, there are some really nasty prototype guys out there that will take advantage of inventors. So we really look at that. Pointed to some different groups that might be able to help them if they're in, you know, Kentucky and Boston, you know, any of those groups. There's a really good one down in San Antonio that we've dealt with, you know, and I've been speaking to a lot of those meetings.
What are you finding when they get in like infringers and stuff? Do you guys have like, are you I mean, obviously without injunctions, we can't really stop a lot of infringers. So
Right.
Do you guys help them find lawyers?
A lot of most of the time when they license it, the licensee fights the infringement.
Oh,
It's just like Josh Malone.
Josh Malone. Okay. So it's like, okay.
Yeah. And that's part of what we put in the agreements is, you know, when we go after a licensing deal and we're reading the contract, and it's easier for us when they say, yeah, you write the contract because we know what's in the contract. when they present us with the contract, then we've got to, read it like a murder mystery, like I said, and make sure all the paragraphs match.
Yeah.
But one of the things that we want to make sure is that they are going to go ahead and fight the infringement on, just like Josh's case.
Yeah, that's huge. That's really huge if you guys go ahead and put that in the contract. Because sometimes what Carrie and I have seen with a lot of we've gotten so many, the group has grown pretty fast, and we've gotten a lot of product inventors, and some of them, they just get these infringers and they can't stop them. You know what I mean? There's nothing that they can do,
One of the, that encourages a lot of the inventors to go after the licensing, because then, they control the intellectual property, but the licensee, they read it, they make sure that they can defend it, because that's what their, part of the role is when they put $500,000 into getting the product teed up and into the marketplace. And that was one of the things that, the Danko did when Walmart infringed on this particular one that they had just licensed our inventor, and they went after Walmart. They got the product pulled before the ink was even dry on the contract.
Oh, that's good. One of the things I heard is when you get a licensing agreement, put in there that they cannot question your patent. They can't take you to PTAB. That's like a good thing to add.
No. And that's one of the things that, we always make sure the inventor is in charge of their intellectual property, and the licensee is the backup.
Yeah, I think I was really naive when I filed for my first patent. I think I just didn't even know. I was, I was out pitching things and people kept taking my ideas. And so, I thought I got a patent, I'd get funding, and I would have all these exclusive rights. And I, got it issued. I built a company. I went to Menlo Park, and they were like, what she's built is better than anything, but who are we going to get to fund a woman? And I was like, well, I have all this IP. And they were like, well, IP is meaningless now since PTAB. And so, I was just so surprised.
It throws a wrench in there, but it's certainly not meaningless. And, and that's one of the reasons why, if you don't at least have it, you don't have anything, like Carrie said. So, that's one of the things that we look at. And, different categories certainly are more, the tech industry is more vulnerable to all of that, with the Google and Facebook and all of those big companies. We license a new hammer. We don't see that as being, as much of a PTAB issue. But you're right. We focus on consumer products, what's going to be in the drugstores, what's going to be in, department stores and e-commerce and that kind of thing. And we've just learned that's kind of our specialty, is when we go to the trade shows and look for, companies that are going to place an order, they're going to license, that kind of thing. So that's where our sweet spot has landed. Although we did, home health care. As soon as I say we only do these things, and it's like, oh, well, shoot, there's always an exception to everything.
Well, when you do, let's say, I think all inventors have tons of ideas or products or whatever. I've never dabbled in, I have lots of ideas that are our product ideas. I just never, I never really wanted to build that company. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not the company that I want to run and whatever. So my interest has always been in my tech companies. But if you did have like a product idea and you got it patented or whatever, you got a provisional, if you license, how involved do you have to be? Like, if I just went and I have all these product ideas and I went and patented them and I brought them to you and I said, can you see if you can get a license? After that, how involved does the inventor need to be?
I think it's up to
really
you.
Depends on how involved you want to be. I've seen inventors say, you know what, send the royalty check, I'm going to the beach. And, then we licensed one to Roadmaster. That was a game changer for them, but they hired the inventor then to be a consultant and to be a salesman. So he got a commission check for everything he sold. He got all of his travel paid for, and he got a royalty on everything the company sold. And he wanted to be real involved. And so it just depends on the inventor. It's like, no, I'm moving on to my next idea. I've got another guy. He invents in the realm he works in, but then he's also used his technology in the golfing realm. Well, he's not in the golfing realm. He just wants to license that and let it run. So it just depends on the inventor.
Okay. Very cool. It's such a different world, that side of it, as far as licensing before, like, I've only ever known the other end where you're trying to defend, from infringers. So I never went on the front end of that. My product was out there, and then I got all these infringers, and it was a different side.
Well, sure. And, there's certainly more to it than just filing a provisional. It's like, Shelley and Hillary have, gone through and they've made their prototypes and, they've gotten their, Hillary's filed her, utility years ago. Shelley's getting ready to file her next one. Companies will not license a provisional. They know the game. All they have to do is wait. They want to know that they can defend the non-provisional. And so that's what they want to read. That's what they want to take for the test drive. And so they will have their attorney slice it and dice it. So that's one of the reasons why we want to make sure you've used a good registered patent attorney to do the filing. Yeah, we know that's going to be their test drive. That's what they want to check into.
I just want to add too, for the 3 other inventors, Merritt knows this. When you get a notice of allowance, when you get a patent, you should file a continuation and before it gets published. And they always publish on Tuesdays, so you only have like a week or two to file your continuation, because then you can keep editing it and keep it going and actually, have more infringers. The word
you've got to, you can do it when you get your notice of allowance. You've got a couple of months, I think, before you have to pay the fee, the $240.
Yeah, once you pay the fee.
Yeah, but once you paid the fee, now the clock is ticking really fast. But if you do it before the fee, we like to see inventors do that. And I always tell them, it's like, pay attention as you're going through the process. You make any changes. Don't be afraid to file a patent on the process of it being made if that's different than something else. Maybe they have to put changes on a machine, file the patent on the machine so that you own all of it. And so, you've got to be really creative. We had one lady, she was making bread, but she was doing it differently. Her patent issued because she was putting it into the oven differently. It's like, who would have figured? But her patent issued.
Well, I know, but it's good to be able to edit it too, because the word "and" is so great for getting rid of prior art, but the word "or" is really good for encapsulating infringers. But anyhow, I have to go. But I just want to tell you, Rita, because I follow you on LinkedIn and I've liked your posts. I don't know if you've noticed that over the last couple of years, and I love the fact you have a talk show and you know a lot of people and you're really helping a lot of people. For the other 3 ladies, you can join this U.S. Female Inventors group, and you can actually just introduce yourself, but you can also find other IP female lawyers that are really into helping females. And then we do post stuff about this Restore Act and bills that are through Congress, and that will help us all, and it'll help your business too, Rita. These laws. Well, in the past,
we're putting together the group for ASD Market Week. So if you know anybody, we've got things that we can shoot you to post out there. So we're putting together our team now to go to ASD Market Week in March.
Well, that would be great. And by the way, you mentioned InventRight. Stephen Keys just attacked Molly Metz on LinkedIn.
Yeah. He is, oh man, he's come around to our booth a couple of times when we've been at different shows. And, I told somebody one time, I said, you will notice him, because, there is an aura that comes off of him. And they said, well, how do we know? And I said, he'll have on the most expensive suit and the most nasty attitude.
Oh my God.
He walked by one day and one of the inventors turned around and gave me the thumbs up, and I go, yep, that's him.
I almost never engage on LinkedIn, like arguing with people, but for whatever reason, I got sucked into arguing with him. I was so mad. He's arguing with me, and then I went away or we're LinkedIn. So I sent him my phone number, and then I deleted my post, and I call him, and we had a very heated argument. And at the very end, I said to him, I don't know what is wrong with you. We are all on the same team. Why can't you support these bills? Do you know what I mean? Because you're just ripping.
Yeah, we're just trying to get rights back so that we can build businesses. A lot of us inventors didn't get patents to license. We got patents to build businesses. So for us on that side, it's hard not to be able to enforce your patents, other than litigation. I didn't get it. I didn't want to get a patent because I wanted to sue people. I got a patent because I wanted to, build a business and help the world. And so
people do.
I got one to retire. It hasn't worked out yet.
And he does want to, it's like, people say, well, how do you know the bad guys from the good guys? And it's like, well, I said, one of the big things is if they're charging you up front, they made their money on you, not on your product going to market.
That's so true.
And he does. He charges them a lot of money up front just to tell them the things that we say in a conversation.
Yeah, I was very impressed when you said that right away. Like, I could tell that it was totally a different vibe here. I mean, I don't know him, but I did reach out to them initially about a product years ago, because I was just trying to do a product thing, and I was like, they wanted money up front, and I was like, no way. You know what I mean? Like, I knew that was not the right way to go. So I'm very thankful that you're out there helping females. And it's not that we're only pro females, we're pro all inventors, but a lot of times females have the hardest time getting funding, and getting through all this.
The patent was based on the idea, on the product, not on whether it was male or female, retired, whatever. It was based on the quality of the intellectual property idea. And that's the way it should be. It's like, I don't need to hear the life story. I want to know, what problem did you solve? How did you solve it? Did you use a registered patent attorney? And can we make it a price the consumer is going to pay for it? That's for the 15-second. That's what a licensee asks me. They don't need to hear the life story. If they want more information, they will ask it, and they will get to the point. It's like, how'd you come up with this idea? But in the beginning, it's very straightforward. What problem did you solve? How did you solve it? And
so somebody is messaging me to add it in the chat, and I'm a computer person. I can never figure something out.
Shelley wants to know the name of the organization.
Yeah, just US Female, right, Merritt, on LinkedIn, and then we'll see you, and then you just join.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like US Inventor, but it's like female US Inventor on LinkedIn. It's like a group.
US Female Inventor.
Yeah. I don't know if you're usinventor.org. Carrie and I, we both, we're part of it. We're not affiliated with it, but we volunteer there sometimes with them. And
I get all of their newsletters and everything. And like I said, I went with them to Capitol Hill.
Yeah. Carrie was just up there in DC with them.
Yeah.
But they're just trying to restore rights. Essentially, I don't know if you guys know, but there was it a 2009 case, Rita? The eBay case was in 2009.
Yeah, could have been.
Yeah, I think it was. So there was an eBay case, and it took away injunctions here in America. And that basically started for a lot of large companies efficient infringement. And so they can just basically, if we can't stop them without injunctions, you can't stop someone from using your patent. So anybody can use it. All you can do is sue for damages. So you can sue for if they infringe, if you ever get, when you get big enough and they infringe, all you can do is start to sue them. And then what oftentimes happens to a lot of inventors is they take you to PTAB, which is the back door of the USPTO, and 84% of patents are taken back there. So all of these inventors, thousands of inventors that have built successful companies, and the long term have ended up losing their patents and losing basically everything, because they don't get any money back for the fees or for all the expenses, the cost to build the companies, everything. And you see all of these inventors whose lives have just been destroyed. And so we're part of trying to restore that basic right back and to make PTAB optional. But we also just have a group like Rita that just likes to help women, and then we're not so political like that. But we are trying to hope that we can get rights restored here in America again for all inventors. It's crazy. We're the only country in the world that doesn't have injunctions. Like every other country has a working patent system, but us,
Just go on LinkedIn and search for the group US Female Inventors, and then we'll just put you in.
Yeah,
right. And I will go ahead and take a look, because I want to make sure you get our flyer for ASD Market Week, so your inventors.
That'd be good.
Can go ahead and
I want to make sure we let people know in our group. We need to regularly post, Rita, and let people, because people are always joining us, and let them know that you can help them license particularly, because that's something that a lot of inventors need.
The other thing is that we do this radio show every Monday. It's amazing how fast Monday rolls around when I've got to have 3 speakers, and it is always free for the inventor.
Okay.
Always.
So
Now,
then they can get promotion on it.
exactly. Promotion's free. So I get to pick the topic and the speakers.
Okay.
And if they want to, and all they've got to do is go to Invent America Radio. All right. And it comes right up. So it's invent-america.com if they want to do the official one. But if they put Invent America Radio, that site, and the first thing that comes up is Be on the Radio, and it's free. They fill out the form, it drops into my email box, and I can call them.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to go, but thank you. I love
Definitely make a post. I'm gonna head. I gotta go
and I
finish
thank
dinner
you,
as well.
Rita.
But
Thank you, Rita, for everything you're doing. Okay.
My pleasure, ladies. Thanks for joining us tonight.
yes,
Okay.
thank you so much for doing this. This was a lot of fun. It was nice to meet all of you guys.
You there?
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
Rita, did you get my email? Although it might have been during the time you haven't had internet, telling you the space I wanted at the show. So I didn't get a response back. It was a couple weeks ago. So it might have been during that time frame.
Yep. And everything, a lot of stuff that came in just fell into a big black hole. You know, if I was leaning over the rail just right, I might be able to send a text message, but I had to be standing on my tippy toes and holding my arm out over my head.
That's fine. I didn't know. So that's
yeah.
fine.
Send it to me again.
Okay.
I should have our booth space well, tomorrow's Friday. So probably Friday or Monday, I will have our actual booth location and number. And that way, then if we've got to, shift twist it around a little bit. So everybody's told me I want a corner, I want to be on this side, whatever. So, let me know. And then if we have to, adjust it a little bit, we will.
Okay.
We still haven't looked at whether or not we're going to be 800 square feet or 1,000 square feet.
Pretty good.
That's we're working on it, and all of this was going on about the time that it was raining outside. So they've been very good. I said, you guys know what we're trying to do. Pick a spot for me and put my name on it. So they were very good and very helpful. But now life is back to normal. So anyway, ladies, any other questions? Darcy, you can always call me if you've got questions about what you want to do. Hillary, I will get you on the radio in the next 2 weeks. And Shelley, when you are ready to be on the radio, tell me.
What is really the best time, to be on the radio? In the sense of where I am right now.
It really depends on the topics, because once you're patent pending, you don't have to have product to sell, but you can share your story. And that's what we're trying to get out there. But we're trying to let the consumer know when there is product available and the website. So like for Hillary, you've got people that, 50% of our listeners are women. 50% of our listeners are small business owners.
Well, that's the other thing that I was hoping to have the product just before, like a month or so before Christmas. That's not going to happen because I've learned, again, our samples have taken so long to get right, the product to get right, that it probably won't be till late March, early April, because I was told it was 2 months of production, 45 days at sea.
Yeah. Yeah. So, it is what it is. You can.
It's what it is. I'd rather it be right.
Yep. Exactly.
Than not. So.
Exactly.
Resend you that email.
And don't tell anybody I said this, ladies. And I know we are still recording, but I trust you. There is really no difference between a female attorney and a male attorney. Just in case you didn't know.
Attorney.
All right, you guys, I'm going to let you all go, and I will talk to you later.
Thanks.
Okay.
Good evening.
Call me if you need me, and Hillary, let me know if you can go to the show with us.
Kind of keep trying. That's all I can do. All right.
All right. Talk to you later.
See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.